everybody, welcome back to Chelsea Bakes. I hope you all had a great holiday season. Now that we're fully immersed in the winter season, I thought we could do a tropical treat today to warm us all up. A few weeks ago, my boyfriend and I went on a spur-of-the-moment trip to Jamaica, which was really nice to get away from the sub-zero temperatures. But now that I'm back, I wanted to incorporate one of my new favorite fruits that I tried while we were away, mangoes. I recently became obsessed with this fruit when we were on vacation, and I figured a great way to enjoy it back home would be to put it into my icing, my buttercream recipe for cupcakes. So today we're going to make mango coconut cupcakes. So to start, we're going to start with our dry ingredients as always. We're going to need 1 cup and 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour. So we have that in the bowl already. And then you're going to want to add 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, and then 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and then we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and that's all you need for the dry ingredients. So then you're just going to want to mix those up a little bit. Your blender. Make sure it's thoroughly mixed, as always. Doesn't take long. Then you're going to want to set those aside so we can do the wet ingredients. So you're going to want to add 1/2 cup of melted butter, and make sure you melt it and then let it sit to cool. That would be 1 stick. And you want to use unsalted butter. And then we're going to add 1 cup of sugar. So my 1/2 cup measuring cups, I'm going to add 2 of these to make a cup. And then you want to combine the sugar and the butter so it's a creamy consistency. You can see it's getting very creamy. Next, you're going to want to add 1 large egg. And then 3/4 cup of milk. And the recipe recommends using whole milk. So again, it's 1/2 cup, 1/4 cup. Make 3/4 cup of whole milk. Then you're going to want to add 1/4 cup of coconut yogurt. So it gives it that tropical feel with the coconut and the mangoes. So add your 1/4 cup of coconut yogurt. And I use the Chobani Greek yogurt, but I'm sure others would work just as well. Next, you're going to want to add 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then we're going to combine the ingredients. You don't want it to be too clumpy, so make sure you mix everything pretty well so it has a creamy, smooth consistency. You can start to smell the coconut. It'll take you right back to the islands. So once you have that mixed, you're going to want to add it to the dry mixture. So now we're going to combine the two. And be careful not to overmix or the cupcakes might turn out a little bit dry. So just make sure everything's combined evenly, and then we're going to pour the batter into the cupcake liners. So everything's combined. Now we're going to add to the cupcake liners, and you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and this recipe usually yields about a dozen cupcakes. So I just use a spoon, and you want to fill each cupcake liner up about 3/4 because they will rise and you don't want it to overflow on the liner. It makes it hard to decorate them if it overflows. So now that we have the cupcakes ready to go, we're going to put them in the oven for 18 to 20 minutes. Now, depending on your oven, mine took 18 when I baked this recipe. However, yours could be more on the end towards the 20 minutes. Just watch them and insert a toothpick in the center about 18 minutes, and if it comes out clean, then they're ready to go. Pop these in the oven. After the short break, we'll switch over to the mango buttercream recipe for the icing.
In 1997, Armstrong introduced Zoom Internet, and it was quickly praised for its speed and reliability. Over the years, it has remained the area's best internet choice because of our commitment to evolution, network quality, and award-winning customer service. We'd like to thank our customers for being part of the Zoom Internet journey. 2 decades of innovation from one of the nation's best service providers. The future is faster with Zoom.
So for the mango buttercream icing, you're going to want to cut a mango in a heaping half a cup of mango, and then put it in a blender, whether that be an electric one or a hand mixing one. And you're going to want to blend that with, I usually put in a tablespoon of whole milk to make it a little creamier, because it does have to be a very creamy consistency with very minimal chunks since you are using it for the icing. So I usually add a teaspoon of the whole milk, a heaping half a cup of mango, and then you want to add about a tablespoon of coconut yogurt. So for the purposes of this recipe, I already made my puree mango, but you can find these mangoes at the grocery store in the fresh produce. I know at Martin's in Connellsville, they do have it pre-cut sometimes over by the fruit trays, so that's a nice option as well. So the first ingredient for the buttercream icing, you're going to want to add 3/4 a cup of unsalted butter, or that would also be equal to 1.5 sticks of unsalted butter. And you just want that to be at room temperature, not melted. And then you're going to want to fluff the butter. So make sure you mix it until it's fluffy in the bowl. It's really sticking. So once you have the butter fluffy, you're going to want to add the mango puree. And then a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then just 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then you're going to want to combine those ingredients. And next you're going to want to add 4 cups of powdered sugar. I usually add a little bit more because it helps if the icing is a tad bit thicker for icing the cupcakes. So I usually do more on the around 5 cups. You can add a little bit gradually to see how the consistency is turning out. Sometimes it even helps to add a little bit of whole milk in if you find that your icing is too thick. And if you find that it's too runny, you can always add more of the sugar. You want it to be a creamy consistency. This one's a little bit thick, so I'm going to add just a wee bit of whole milk. I would say start with 1 tablespoon and add accordingly. You can see it's thick but creamy. And there are some small chunks of mango in the mix, but that's okay. It still tastes good on the cupcakes. To make the icing a little bit darker and yellow, you might want to add 3 to 4 drops of yellow food coloring. And you can just combine that in with a spoon or your mixer. Just makes the decorating a little bit more fun. Then you're going to want to add a little bit more powdered sugar. Getting crazy with the powdered sugar. So you scrape down the edges of the bowl and get all the powder incorporated. Okay, so now that you see it's a little bit thicker, you're going to want to add it to a piping bag with a large star tip. We can just add in a little bit at a time. Now we'll decorate our first cupcake. And we have some fun embellishments as well to make these extra tropical. You just want to swirl the icing in a circle. Kind of stack it up on the circle prior so you get a spiral fill. Next, we're going to garnish the cupcakes and the icing with a little bit of shredded coconut. Just a wee bit. We'll add on a piece of pineapple, fresh pineapple, with a toothpick. Helps to keep it in place. And we're going to add one cherry on top. The ones with the stems give it a little bit of an extra touch. So add the cherry. And then one last touch to give us an extra beachy feel. What else says islands like a little tropical umbrella? And there you have it, your mango coconut cupcakes. Thank you everybody for tuning in to Chelsea Bakes again, and enjoy.